Hi everybody, it's Dinosaur George from dinosaurgeorge.com. If you've got a question, go to my website, click on the Ask Dinosaur George page, and send me what you got. Okay, Alex from Manchester, England. You are the coolest paleontologist I know, and I have two questions. Well, Alex, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I think you're the coolest person I know from Manchester, England. All right, he says, is it true that a T-Rex's arms have been found with 3 fingers on them? Well, yeah, Alex, actually it is. They found the hand of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and rather than be limited to just those 2 fingers that we all see in all the pictures and read about in all the books, they actually had kind of 2 1/4 finger. It's not a 3rd digit with a claw on it. We call it a vestigial finger, and what that means is it was kind of going away and didn't do anything. So think of it as half of a pinky, but it does demonstrate that the early ancestors of Tyrannosaurus at one time had 3 fingers. And it's kind of amazing because when the very first Tyrannosaur was ever found, the man who found it said he thought that the dinosaur probably had 3 fingers, not just 2. And then it was years and years before somebody found evidence that indeed they do. So don't think of it as having 3 fingers. Think of Tyrannosaurus Rex as having 2 1/4 finger, a little half pinky looking thing. His second question is, why did Steven Spielberg make his raptors the size of Deinonychus but call them Velociraptor? And then he says, just for fun, what is your favorite raptor? Well, your first question, that is kind of an amazing story. When Steven Spielberg was making Jurassic Park, he didn't think Velociraptor was big enough to be a vicious dinosaur. He wanted it to be more vicious. So he said, let's simply take this dinosaur and make it about 4 times bigger than it was in real life. And that's what you saw in Jurassic Park. Now, nobody knew that any raptor could grow to be that size. We knew of Deinonychus, but Deinonychus wasn't even that big. So he really didn't use Deinonychus. It wasn't until the movie was almost done that in Utah, they discovered the remains of a giant raptor, which they named Utah Raptor. And it just turns out that that dinosaur is actually more similar in size to Spielberg's dinosaurs than anybody ever predicted. So it's just kind of a strange coincidence. Sometimes it drives me crazy about Hollywood. It drives me crazy about television. I think dinosaurs are the most amazing animals on earth. Why people that make television shows and movies feel the need to enhance them is beyond me. I'll tell you something, when we were making Jurassic Fight Club, it used to drive me nuts to fight that, because there was this tendency to want to make these things bigger than they were and more vicious than they were. My gosh, what could be more amazing than Tyrannosaurus Rex or any other dinosaur? So anyway, it just turned out that he just thought it would be cooler to make them bigger. And to your question, what's my favorite raptor? Man, that's tough. I love Deinonychus. I've always loved Deinonychus. But then as I began to study Utah Raptor, man, he's a tough dude. But I still have to stay with Deinonychus as being my all-time favorite raptor. I just think he's wicked. All right, my buddy Erikjan from Den Helder, the Netherlands. Hey, DG, this time I have a question about bone marrow. You know, Eric, you asked me some of the coolest questions, man. I love these. He said, were there any kind of dinosaurs who eat just bone marrow, like some vultures do today? Sincerely, Eric from Holland. Eric, bone marrow is incredibly healthy and is packed with nutrition and protein. Any predator that had the ability to crack the bones of dinosaurs would have absolutely eaten the bone marrow. Dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus Rex, in my opinion, based on the shape of the tooth design, I think that those guys swallowed chunks of bone whole. I would bet you anything that they would crack open a femur, break it open, and swallow it simply so their stomach acid could dissolve the marrow within, and also dissolve the bone itself and actually add calcium to its diet. So I don't know if there were any dinosaurs that solely survived off of that, but mark my words, when they came upon a kill and they were scavenging, there may not be any meat left, but you can bet that they are going to crack those bones open and try to get the bone marrow. All right, Trevor from Bury, St Edmunds, England. Trevor, always good to hear from you. I have seen an illustration of Allosaurus holding prey in its claws, clenching it tight like an eagle. Do I think it's possible that they could carry their prey? Absolutely, I do think it's possible. Trevor, when you look at the hand design of Allosaurus, it clearly, in my opinion, tells you that this is an animal who is designed to use those hands both during an attack and afterwards to help tear open prey. I think they could have carried it. Now, they could not have picked up a huge animal like a stegosaur. They couldn't have picked that up with their hands. But I do think that if they ripped off chunks of that animal and maybe took it back to a mate or took it back to their babies, I think they absolutely would have used their hands to carry those things. Man, when you look at the thumb claws of those animals, there's a big claws. They certainly would have made perfect meat hooks. And finally, Arthur from São Paulo. He says, hey, Dinosaur George, it's me, Arthur. Certainly you remember me. Of course I remember you, Arthur. You're the only guy that writes to me from São Paulo at this moment, so of course I remember you very well. He said, I have another question. I see Jurassic Park, and I know that velociraptors are not as big as the ones they show. And he wants to know, why do you think that they used a Deinonychus or a Utah raptor? You know, that is so cool. I get these questions sometimes like this where Alex from England is asking the same question that Arthur from Sao Paulo is asking. And you guys couldn't separate your countries anymore. That's so incredible that we all have that same interest. And that's what I love about doing these questions for you guys. Again, Arthur, like I explained to Alex, they didn't use a known raptor. They simply took Velociraptor and made him much bigger than he was in real life. They did not know that Utah Raptor even existed when they started making the movie. Michael Crichton, the guy that wrote Jurassic Park, I had heard that he said that he really wished he would have known of Utah Raptor when he wrote the book, because he would have made Utah Raptor the villain. So anyway, that's your answer. It just turns out again that sometimes people in Hollywood think they gotta make things bigger than they are. But I gotta tell you guys, if you've ever studied Velociraptor, I think it would have been even more terrifying to see something little attack a human and leap up and jump on them and jump on their head. That would have been a nasty scene. All right, that's it for this time. Thank you all for writing to me. Go to my website, dinosaurgeorge.com. Make sure to join my free newsletter. It's totally free, and I do not share your email address with anybody. Until next time, you guys take care of yourself. Take care of the other people around you. And remember, practice your reading skills, practice good manners. And if you get good at those, you're going to be good at everything you do. Until next time, everybody, take care, and I love hearing from you. I'll see you again soon.